Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
I tell you what, if there's one fishery in Victoria that's absolutely on fire right now and underutilised and going to be a very, very special place in the future, Adam, it's Devil Bend Reservoir.
Devil Bend, we've been waiting a long time, but it's finally... Well, it's safe to say it's finally gone right off.
Yeah.
And there's no spot eggs, there's no secret place, just stick between the platforms, stick to the platforms.
Yeah.
Anywhere that is easily accessible, there's fish at the moment.
Now, I might be wrong, but I've got a feeling it's either 70 or 80,000 estuary perch have been stocked in the Devil Bend Reservoir. And when you put that amount of fish in, it's got to be pretty good. So now there's a time of year, and obviously they like the warmer water.
Yep.
They love the insect life on the surface, and the trout have gone a bit quiet. Although we did see a 40+ centimetre about 2 weeks ago caught out of there. But the estuary perch are on fire, and the boys from work are particularly going down and catching them late in the evening. Now you're going to show us a whole lot of hard bodies, but you're not going to show us a fly. Well, you're going to show us a cicada.
I'm going to show you a cicada.
But fly fishing has just been awesome as well.
Yeah, that's right. And because we're at that time of year where these perch have... Well, first off, they've got to a size where they're easily catchable. They're not big. They're still well undersized.
23 centimetres, almost every one of them.
That's right. So they're all similar size. They're great fun to catch because they're being taken on top. Yeah. And I think the flow-on effect from these fish in there is... Their activity is stirring up activity in the redfin, the trout, and the bits and pieces. They can't help themselves. Yeah. So we've got a handful of lures.
I pulled a redfin out of there.
There you go. Yeah, that's it.
They must be the next year's going.
So we've got a handful of lures which have probably been the more successful lures that we've seen over the last 4 weeks, to be honest. We've covered it before, but the Bobbin Spoon by Strike Pro. They're a great little lure for, I guess, the amateur, someone who hasn't done a lot of lure fishing. You'll catch everything on them. The big trout that we just spoke of was caught on one of these during the week. It's as simple as casting it as far as you can and just winding it back. They're designed to impart their own action. You can let them sink down a little bit because they are quite heavy. But they will attract everything from estuary perch to trout to
worth pointing out, though, that a lot of these fish are coming in less than a metre of water.
Yeah, they are.
And there's a lot of weed. So they've put Devil Bend down to a certain level. I think it's 68%. So you've got a lot of weed, and at times there's a weed bank out in front of you that's, say, 15 metres offshore, and you're actually casting into that, just onto the edge, so you're actually less than 15 metres out from shore.
That's right.
Casting and catching perch after perch.
And that'll be a little bit of a theme with all these lures as we get into it. They all work right from the top. The next one, obviously the Tazi Devil. It's been around for a long time. Get a load of them, Charlie. I know you've probably sold an absolute stack of those in your time.
And you only need a small one.
Yeah, that's right. I've grabbed a couple of bigger ones, but I'd be going the small one. Not just for the size of fish, but because of the weed factor we're talking about. You want to keep them quite high. My biggest bit of advice for a Tazi Devil is take the wire out and run a little single hook with a bead on top to stop that lure running over the top of the eye of the hook. That's all you need. So these fish are in there at the moment for release because they are quite small, but the old Tazi, they just work. You'll catch estuary perch on these. Obviously the redfin and the trout, we know how successful they are on those, but you'll get your estuary perch on them as well.
7 gram. Another bit with those too, Ads, is what you can do is you can actually put them on the edge of the bench or your boat and give them an extra bend because they're lead core, and you can make them work faster or slower.
So there you go. You get into a bit of customization with those lures too, which is great. Now we're into the exciting surface action. This would have to be my most favourite way of catching any fish because it's so exciting. You're seeing every hit. When it gets dark, you don't see anything. You just hear the noise and almost fall off the bank. It's that exciting. But Charlie, have a look at that and tell me your initial thoughts on that lure.
It went wrong, but let's give it a go.
It literally looks like it came out of a broken mould.
We made it, but we mucked it up.
It's called a bent minnow. Now, it's probably more of a subsurface lure, to be fair, but they are catching a truckload of fish on these things.
It's weird, isn't it?
They are. They're very easy to use, and I think that's why they're so popular. You can almost flat wind them, and they work. But they don't really have an action, and I think that's the appeal to them. Sometimes they dart subsurface and fall back up and fall over themselves. Other times you can get them to walk the dog on the surface. And I think that's what makes them so unique and so exciting.
It's like a wounded fish, like, look, I'm wounded, come and eat me.
It is, and if there is a wounded fish, they have no pattern or no rhythm to what they're doing. They're just trying to survive. So that's what that's designed to do, and has been one of the more popular lures through Devil Bend at the moment. On top of that, you go to your more traditional style walk the dog lure. These are a Jackson Pygmy pencil.
Yep.
And these have been dynamite. They would be the preferred option for most people that haven't surface lure fished before because they're very easy to walk.
Yeah.
You don't need too much skill and finesse using your rod tip. So again, a great introduction into surface fishing. The only downfall, you really need to see what they're doing. So as it gets dark and you can't see it, you're probably best switching to the next lure we talk about, or a more cup face type popper where you know it's working by its sound. Where this is all by sight, you need to make sure it's working properly.
How big have clear colours become in the last few years?
I know.
Like clear, well, almost clear, you know, with a tinge of green, it's a bit of a brown.
Yeah, huge.
But
and I think that's just as we get smarter, we're trying to match the hatch more. It's not just for fly fishing anymore. And everything is almost see-through for a reason. It doesn't want to be eaten.
That's it.
But the fish have honed in on what to look for. Yeah. We're getting very, very smart with our presentations, and of course it's resulting into more fish being caught.
Yep.
So that's the Pygmy pencil. That's been great for the daylight hours or the dusk hours where you can see what's going on.
Technical question, you leave the trebles on there?
Yes, I would. The hookup rate on a surface lure is probably sketchy at best.
Yeah, it's hard.
Switching to singles, it's about one of the only forms of fishing where you want to. You don't want to sacrifice hookup to keep the fish on. You want that initial hookup because they can be sketchy.
Even try an extra split ring on the front, so it hangs the hook a little bit lower. You can try
that's a great tip, actually.
So not too much weight. Just check your action.
Yep. Yeah. The next one, again, we've covered it before.
Have a look at this.
But this just comes into its own, especially at night time where you can't really see what's happening. There's a few different cicada models on the market. This Jackson cicada is a little bit different and it's a little bit unique and it's really getting the job done on these little perch. And the reddies. We can't believe the big reddies coming to take these. It literally it looks like a cicada.
Now's the time of year, isn't it?
Exactly right.
That's right.
Exactly right. It looks like a cicada. It's not a flat wind that we see in a lot of cicada lures. This is one that literally, you see a cicada fall in the water and all it does is throw out these little pulsating rings. You just hold
the wings are flapping and it's buzzing, isn't it?
Exactly right. So let that hit the water, give it one solid little lift of the rod tip to spread those wings out, and then just shake that rod tip and let it do its thing. Because it'll flutter.
Shake your rod.
There's actually a really good YouTube clip of it. I think Brett Wilson from Tackle World has done a really good little YouTube clip. So just Google
Jackson cicada. Yeah, that's
Brett
right.
Wilson, Tackle World, something like that, and you'll get it.
And
so it's a ripper of a
It's worth
clip.
looking at it because it's the only way to work these lures. They're designed very specifically. It's a Japanese designed and made lure. They're designed very specifically to do one thing, and that is to look like a realistic, real-life cicada that's just fallen onto the water.
What noise do they make?
They click.
Do they?
We might bring a real one in one day.
Yeah, we'll bring a real one in.
Charlie, you eat it. What do you reckon?
They will. That's the problem.
Seriously, if you haven't seen these cicada imitations from Jackson, get into your local tackle shop and have a look at it because they are. You can tell they're Japanese quality.
That's right.
They are just absolutely a copy. They look lifelike.
And please talk to the staff because, like I said, it's very important that you get the action right on these lures.
Correct.
It's very, very easy to do. They're not a hard lure to use. It's nothing complicated about it. But you need a specific action, otherwise it won't do anything. It's designed for a specific purpose, and the fish are going mad for it at the moment.
And the biggest thing is, get down to Devil Bend Reservoir and enjoy it because it's a fantastic place. It's you can get in only before dark, but at this time of year, that gives you plenty of time after work, and you can leave whenever you want because the gate automatically opens to let you out and all that sort of stuff. But just what a sensational fishery. And when those estuary perch are another 2 years older, they're going to pull like steam trains if they don't already, and they're just going to be a fantastic fishery. Definitely. It's going to get people excited. It's going to get busy.
That's right.
It's going to get people excited. It's just going to be sensational.
There's shown glimpses of it already. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you.